Hey guys, welcome to another recap of The X Factor. Tonight's episode, Miami. Alright, so we start off the show with Ashley Sansone, 27 years old, and this girl couldn't be any more obnoxious. Her voice is obnoxious, talking voice, singing voice, you name it. Her ego's a little bit big too. She's like, I could be someone's inspiration, I could. When she started to sing, L.A. Reid wanted to slit his wrists, and then she got all delusional, and she was just like, what do you mean you don't want me? Train wreck. Check, please. Chanel Dixon up next, the hairdresser. She had some interesting hair. She was 34 years old, but it was a no. Followed by two more no's for Kane and Rode, the three cowboy group, and the Dream Girls, the mother-daughter group. Now, the funniest thing about them was the brother/son in backstage that was like freaking out at the judges. It was so funny, and he kept going, sorry, Mom, sorry. It's just so angry. It was weird, but it was funny as hell. All right, then Gloria Estefan showed up and pumped the crowd up because she freaking lives there. What else is she doing? All right, Caitlin Curtis was up next. She sang Katy Perry's Firework. She's only 16, but she was like a 16-year-old little baby goat. When they said no, she cried. And I was worried that Paula was going to change her mind, but I guess Simon was like, if you change your mind for any of these silly little girls that cry, you're off the show, Paula. All right, so Paula, you stayed strong. That's good. The first step is admitting that you have a problem. So she didn't make it through. Nick Voss was up next, 21-year-old young Elvis. Maybe young Elvis in a gang. What was with the missing eyebrow? Did he lose it in an accident? Or was it like some kind of gang thing? Or like some throwback to the 80s? He sang Trouble. You know, the Elvis version. He wasn't a great singer, but he had some boot-scooting qualities that were interesting, that they liked. You know, they put us through a little bit of drama, but he eventually made it. That's the thing about this show. It's like all about the drama of like, yes or no, or how many do you have? And it's just exhausting. I mean, I can't take it anymore. Just tell them yes or no. Bring back Idol. We were all like, oh, American Idol, you suck. I'm totally watching the X Factor. Well, you know what? It's really not better than American Idol. The auditions aren't anyway. I don't know what the actual season's gonna be like. Alright, so Ashley Deckers was up next, 14 years old. She's a ghost hunter. She sees ghosts. She might even talk to them sometimes. She wasn't good. But you know what? Paula sees ghosts too. And I believe that. The old ghosts of liquor bottles, I'm sure. Anyway, glug glug. That's when the show took a turn. And it got all corny again. And it was like, oh, we said too many no's. Now the ghosts are coming and they're going to get us. And Nicole was like really freaking out. Either she's a really good actress or she's like a 5-year-old. She was really freaking out. And then this Marivana lady showed up who kind of looked like a Brunhilde witch. Remember that old cartoon from when we were kids? Yeah, it was in the Sunday papers. She was an ex-music teacher, and she, well, let's just say Simon said her voice sounded like wolves mating in the forest. I think she was actually put through. I don't know how, but Simon didn't like her. Alright, then there was a whole bunch of yeses, like 2 Squared, the girl group, which was really 4 people. 2 times 2 is 4. That was a yes. And Kendra Williams, 32 years old, was a yes. And Brendan O'Hara was a yes. And Jeremiah Pagan, the male soprano, he was a yes too. He was pretty good, actually. He was really good. He reminds me of the guy on the Glee project, Alex. Alright, so then Melanie Amaro was up next. She's 18 and she's a college freshman. And at first I was thinking, oh, they're playing this up too much. It's not going to be very good. And then she opened her mouth, and I could not believe that that voice that came out was coming from her because she sounded so old and just amazing. I mean, powerful. Hell yeah. It was 4 yeses. Of course it was. It was really good. I'm absolutely excited to see what she's going to be doing this season. So let's get the hell out of Miami. Let's go to Dallas. First up was Johnny Rogers. It almost sounds like Jolly Roger. Alright, he was 17 and he's a total Justin Bieber look-alike. He thinks Justin Bieber took his hair. I think not. He came out with this awful original song, which was horrible. It was a no. Then was the part of the show where they poke fun at Nicole because she went all Southern. But the truth is, don't ever tell somebody from Texas they're from the South. They're from Texas, not the South. So it's actually like Midwest, isn't it? So they don't want to be told that they have a Southern accent. They have a Texas accent. But Simon wouldn't know that because he's from the UK. Alright, so she was saying y'all about everything and honey and y'all and blah blah blah. And the look of disgust on Paula's face said it all. I feel bad for Nicole because in actuality, fun fact, she started out as the co-host of the show, which they scrubbed clean of any footage of it and put her as the replacement for Cheryl Cole, like as if nothing had happened. So I feel like Simon tolerates her, Paula hates her, and L.A. Reid also tolerates her. So I feel bad for her because she's kind of the young little naive girl on the panel that everyone will not hesitate to use as their whipping girl. Alright, so Dylan was up next. He's 18 years old. He was so full of S. He said he was from Kentucky. He sold his truck to try out. He pretended like he had some story, you know, about his dad and his brother playing music and blah blah blah, and you tried to get on your good side, and then all of a sudden he does this screamo thing filled with obscenities. Y'all been had, guys, and L.A. Reid was like, he sold his truck for this. Hello, have you ever heard of You Got Hoodwinked? They're so dumb. Do they... I can't even go there. Alright, so Wesley Kimball, another screamer. No. Michael and Michelle, the Bad Harmony couple, also a no. Phoenix, the dude who had a dream catcher over his crotch. He kind of sounded like a didgeridoo. It was a no. Then Dexter came out. Now this was a heartwarming story. He likes to wear big shoes, emulate James Brown. He came out singing Sex Machine. Actually, his name was Dexter Haygood. He was 49 years old. Ay, ay, ay. And Simon was like, sing something else. So he sang It's a Man's World. He's living in his car, for crying out loud. The guy really wants it. My pet peeve on this show is when they're like, this really means a lot to you, doesn't it? No, that's why I'm here, because I have nothing better to do. Of course it means a lot. It's $5 million. Not everyone's got that laying around under their mattress. So it was a yes. So I felt good about him. I don't know how actually far he can go in the competition, but let's see what happens. A few more yeses. Then Caitlin Koch came out. She's a rugby coach. She's 21 years old. She sang a really cool, slow style version of Stop in the Name of Love. Very soulful. She got a standing ovation from the entire arena. So that was a yes, obviously. Then, to close the show, they usually have an inspirational one. So Xander Alexander came out. His real name is Alexander Johnson, but his stage name is Xander Alexander. So Simon kept calling him Alexander, and he was like, don't call me that, blah, blah, blah. He was a real diva. And Simon made him sing another song as well. He wasn't horrible. I mean, I've seen other people go through that weren't, you know, that weren't worse than him. And, well, that were worse than him, I should say. What am I saying? And he did not make it through because he was a bitchy diva, and he went and he cried backstage. I felt bad for him, but you know what? If you think you're beautiful, just be nice. F you. So yeah, that's my quote from Rusko Starr, my favorite German performer from Berlin, baby. Alright, so next week, the madness continues. I can only imagine what we're about to see. I can't wait for the person in the alien mask. At least I think it's a person. I hope it's not an alien that showed up to win the X Factor. Till next week, much love.